A lion roars, and every animal within a mile freezes. That's what you'd expect. That's the story we've all been told. The lion is the terror of the savannah, the apex predator, the thing that ends your life if you're slow or weak or unlucky. But that's not what the animals think. Scientists hid speakers near watering holes in South Africa. They played the sound of a lion, then they played something else, a human voice, just talking, no shouting, no gunshot, just calm, ordinary conversation. And the animals didn't just get nervous, they panicked. They ran twice as fast. They abandoned water in the middle of the desert in under half the time it took them to flee a lion. Giraffes, leopards, hyenas, zebras, even elephants. Almost every single species tested was more scared of a human voice than the roar of the animal that could actually eat them. Stay with me, because the real reason isn't fear of teeth or claws. It's something stranger, something that says more about us than it does about them. And by the end, you'll never look at a walk in the woods the same way again. So let's start with the experiment that broke everyone's assumptions. In 2023, a team led by biologist Liana Zanette set up hidden cameras and speaker rigs across greater Kruger National Park, one of the most predator-rich landscapes left on Earth. Lions here are real. They hunt in packs. They kill things twice their size. The setup was simple. An animal walks past a water hole. A sensor triggers. The speaker plays 10 seconds of sound. Sometimes it's a lion growling low, the way lions talk to each other, not roaring, just quiet, threatening chatter. Sometimes it's a gunshot. Sometimes barking dogs. And sometimes it's just people speaking normally in the local languages of the region. Here's what's fascinating. The lion sound made animals nervous. They looked up. Some moved away. Normal behavior for prey near a predator. But the human voice did something else entirely. Animals fled almost immediately. They didn't finish drinking. They didn't look around to assess the threat. They just ran. Nearly 95% of the species tested fled faster and more often from a calm human voice than from the sound of a hunting lion. Think about that. Lions can rip an elephant calf apart. A human voice can't touch you from a hidden speaker in the bushes, and still the human voice won every time. So why? Here's the theory scientists landed on, and it changes the whole picture. Lions are terrifying, but lions are predictable. Prey animals have been dodging lions for millions of years. They know the rules. A lion needs to get close. A lion needs to chase. A lion can be outrun or outsmarted or simply avoided if you're paying attention. Humans don't play by those rules. We kill from hundreds of yards away. We kill with something an animal never sees coming and never hears until it's too late. There is no evolved instinct for dodging a bullet. There is no 10,000-year-old escape plan for a rifle. To a prey animal's nervous system, we are not just another predator on the food chain. We are a glitch in the food chain. Researchers have a name for this. They call humans the super predator. Not because we're the strongest or the fastest or the fiercest, but because of the numbers. Studies comparing predation rates across the globe found that humans kill prey species at rates far beyond any other predator on the planet, sometimes many times higher than lions, wolves, or bears combined. We don't hunt to survive the way a lion does. We hunt at industrial scale, and somehow, deep in their instincts, animals seem to know it. But here's where it gets even stranger. This isn't just an African savanna thing. A year later, in 2024, another team ran nearly the same experiment on the opposite side of the planet, Australia, Tasmania. This time, the subjects were kangaroos, wallabies, and introduced deer, animals that had never even met a lion in their evolutionary history. Same result. The recorded human voice sent them fleeing faster and further than any native predator sound they tested. That's the part that should stop you cold. These are animals from two completely different continents, two different ecosystems, two different evolutionary paths, separated by tens of thousands of years. And they arrived at the exact same terror, not of claws, not of fangs, of us. So is this fear brand new? Something that only shows up when animals are near people? Actually, no. And this is where the story gets even more unsettling. In 2016, another set of researchers studied badgers in the English countryside, animals that live in a landscape with essentially zero large carnivores left. No wolves, no bears, nothing that could actually hunt an adult badger. And still, when they played human voices near badger burrows, the badgers reacted with far more fear and avoidance than they showed toward any other sound, including actual predator calls. Let that sink in. These badgers had no living memory of being hunted by a big carnivore. Their landscape has been carnivore-free for generations, and they still treated a human voice as the single scariest thing in their world. It's like the fear doesn't need current experience to survive. It's baked in, passed down, waiting, and it's not only about running away, it's about changing an animal's entire life, even when nothing happens to it directly. In California, researchers tracking mountain lions found something remarkable. When a puma made a kill and then heard a recording of a human voice nearby, it abandoned the carcass, just walked away from its own meal, didn't come back for hours, sometimes didn't come back at all. Think about what that means for an apex predator. predator. The mountain lion is not prey. Nothing hunts a healthy adult puma. And yet the mere sound of us, not even our presence, just our voice on a speaker, was enough to make it give up food it had already killed. If the fiercest hunter on the mountain does that, what chance does a rabbit have? And this fear ripples outward in ways you'd never expect. When predators change their behavior around humans, the prey they usually hunt changes too. Deer graze differently. Plants grow differently because the deer that would normally eat them are hiding somewhere else. Scientists have actually mapped how a puma's fear of a human voice can reshape the shrubs and saplings on an entire hillside. One fear rippling all the way down to the plants. So picture it. You're a zebra at a waterhole in the dying light. You hear the low murmur of a lion talking to its pride somewhere out in the grass. Your body tenses, but you keep drinking, watching, calculating the distance. You've done this dance for a million years. You know the odds. Then you hear something else. A human voice. Calm, almost gentle, and every instinct in your body screams at you to run. Right now, don't think, don't calculate, just go. You don't know why the fear feels different. You just know it is. That's not a coincidence. That's evolution, quietly writing the same warning into species after species after species all over the planet, all pointing at the same animal, us. And here's the part that should really sit with you. We don't think of ourselves this way. Most people walking through a forest picture themselves as the vulnerable one, the soft, slow, clawless animal that should be afraid of what's out there in the dark, but the animals in that dark know better. To them, we are not the visitor. We are the reason the waterhole empties in seconds. We are the reason a mountain lion walks away from its own kill. We are the reason a badger in a landscape with no wolves still trembles at the sound of a voice. We built weapons before we built empathy. We learned to kill from a distance long before we learned to understand what fear even means to another animal. And every prey species on Earth has been quietly, silently keeping score. So the next time you're out in nature and it feels unnaturally still and nothing moves and nothing sings, remember, it's not because nothing is watching. It's because everything already knows exactly what you are.